set. Try that, okay. Welcome to the student recognition and white coat ceremony for the Master of Science in Speech Language Pathology program, class of 2023. Tonight, we gather to recognize the 35 students who will soon graduate and enter the profession of speech language pathology as Lewis SLPs. I'm Dr. Susan Muller, Dean of the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Allow me to introduce the speakers and distinguished guests for tonight's celebration. Please stand and turn to the audience as you are introduced and remain standing for the recognition as a group. Dr. David Livingston, President. Dr. Christopher Sint, Provost. Brother Philip Johnson, Lasallian Christian Brother. Aiden Martinez, pianist and Lewis alumnus. Sophie Scanlon, Tommy Maloof, Tamsin Glazer, and Cases Cross of the You Be the Guy vocal ensemble. Sophie is a member of the SLP class of 2023. Please be seated. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you for coming tonight as we prepare to celebrate the achievements of these students and the faculty and staff who have contributed to their success. At this time, Dr. Tina Veal, Professor and Administrative Director of the Speech Language Pathology programs at Lewis University, will open our ceremony with a word of prayer.
Good evening, everyone. Let us pray. Eternal God, in you we live and move and have our being. In your will we find our purpose, and in your wisdom we find our joy. Bless the speech language pathology students here tonight who have completed a course of study and now begin a new part of their lives. Let them not be troubled about yesterday, nor anxious about tomorrow, but let them live fully this day which you have made. Strengthen their faith in you and in the talents you have given them, so that they may courageously follow your spirit and do your will wherever they go. When doubt and confusion surround them, light their way and give them peace in your plan for them. When new doors and opportunities open before them, lead them to make good choices on behalf of those most in need. Let them use the gifts they have received in their studies, that they may become a source of inspiration and a blessing to the world. And when each day is ended, give them delight in knowing that the good work you have begun in them shall come to completion in you. We ask this through Christ our Lord. Amen. President Livingston, Provost Sent, Dean Mahler, Brother Johnson, friends and family, it is my privilege to present the Lewis University Speech Language Pathology Class of 2023. Students, please rise and face the audience. These 35 students will soon enter the workforce as Lewis SLPs. They began their studies in May of 2021. They were students with a dream and the determination to achieve it. Soon they will leave our campus as culturally informed, socially responsible, transformative speech-language pathologists. They have learned from outstanding academic scholars and clinical educators. They have been shaped by their clients, people of all ages and from all stations in life with communication challenges. They have partnered with Lewis faculty to build and operate 8 community-based clinics, providing over 10,000 hours of speech-language pathology services to previously unserved people with communication disorders. In this capacity, they have not only learned the craft of our discipline, they have begun to address widespread service gaps in healthcare and education. The work that these 35 individuals have done to establish Lewis University's speech-language pathology program as a change agent in our community is truly remarkable. Students, this is your moment. We celebrate each of you and the unique gifts you bring to our profession. We hope that you enjoy this evening of recognition of all that you have achieved and a reflection of all that is yet to come. You may be seated. While this evening is set aside in recognition of our students, there are others with us tonight who have played pivotal roles in their success. An impressive team of faculty and staff have contributed to the development and delivery of our curriculum and our unique clinical education program. I offer you our admiration and our heartfelt gratitude. Please rise and be recognized as I call your name and stand until all names are called. Dr. Ann Gernon, Assistant Professor of Speech-Language Pathology, expertise in adult neurological disorders, including deficits of cognitive and social communication, research. Dr. Victoria Reynolds, Associate Professor of Speech-Language Pathology, expertise in voice disorders, stuttering, and pediatric feeding disorders, research. Professor Kristen Smith, Coordinator of Clinical Education, Professor of Practice, founder of the SLP Clinic at the Midwest Brain Injury Clubhouse in Chicago, expertise in swallowing and adult neurological disorders. Professor Tammy Basil, Professor of Practice, founder of the Lewis SLP Clinic at I Can Dream Center in Tinley Park, a transition center for students with autism, expertise in child speech and language disorders, developmental disabilities, and social communication disorders. Professor Erica Berkovic, Professor of Practice, founder of the Lewis SLP Clinic at Arrow Special Education Cooperative in Burbank, expertise in pediatric communication disorders. Dr. Carol Szymanski, Associate Professor, and expertise in child language disorders and developmental disabilities and literacy development and disorders. You guys may be seated. Next, our team of clinical educators, Professor Irene Bucher, Mrs. B, SLP, SLP Clinic at Mays Lake Village in Oak Brook. Professor Elizabeth Stoffel, SLP Clinic at Mays Lake Village in Oak Brook, and SLP Clinic at Naperville Senior Daycare Center. I'm trying to make sure of everybody that's here. Let's see. Our team of adjunct faculty, I think we have tonight here Professor Roger Reeder. He teaches some undergraduate courses for us and the graduate dysphagia course. And last but not least, Michelle Latta, our administrative assistant. Please join me in acknowledging our whole faculty and staff. University provosts are administrators who oversee the academic operation of the university. They are the leader of the academic faculty and ensure that the academy achieves its educational and societal goals. They are the champion of our students and shape an environment that is conducive to learning and becoming. At Lewis University, we are fortunate to have a gifted leader who works in association with us to deliver educational programs that meet the needs of our students. It is my privilege to welcome to our podium our provost, Dr. Christopher Sint.
Good evening, everyone. Great to be with you this lovely night in this great room with children and babies making noise in the background. It's so beautiful. I love hearing that at events like this. And I just want to, on behalf of President Livingston and all of our Lewis community, a welcome to all the families of our wonderful students. And I guess I want to begin with that. Everyone who's been here tonight, everyone's here tonight who has supported your loved ones through their educational journey. It's really, we know, our students know, heroic work to be a family member, a spouse, a parent, child of someone going through an intense graduate program like this one. And we just want to recognize you for your incredible support and achievement of helping your student through this. So let's give a round of applause for our parents and families. So it was lovely to see all the amazing faculty be introduced. It is an incredible, growing, incredibly talented and accomplished group of faculty. So I just want to recognize you and thank you for your tireless work in association with each other and with our students. Your hard work makes such a big difference, and it's events like this that demonstrate the impact of all you do. So thank you so much for your work. And to the students, you are really awesome, super impressive human beings to have made it through to this point in your educational experience. It's incredibly challenging work, and you've done it. You've done it through some real challenges over the last couple of years, all different types of challenges, and you've persisted and succeeded. So I'm very proud of you, very honored to be with you. So some things to think about when you're putting on the white coat, or as you leave Lewis to begin a life of practice. You will, we know, provide holistic, quality care for those in need, guided by a commitment to Lasallian and Catholic values, respect for whole people, high-quality knowledge of speech and language pathology, and a commitment to social justice. And I hope the intention to bring joy and laughter into hearts and minds. John Baptiste de La Salle was a teacher and school leader, administrator, but he was also a caregiver who sought to create conditions for children of all economic backgrounds to attend school, to have access to school, to education. And above all, he sought to find a way to bring humanity into as many lives as possible. And I know the students here have seen on our campus near North Hall the monument called the Encounter, the door, if you don't know its name, the door that you walk by when walking across our campus. It depicts the moment when De La Salle, who was a priest from a distinguished and wealthy family, encounters Adrien Nael on the doorstep in Reims, France. This encounter between the two men led to a discussion about establishing a school for the poor, which led over a few weeks to an education for De La Salle in the world of disadvantaged students, unprepared teachers, and families oppressed by poverty. This led to the realization, or a calling, a discernment about his vocation and purpose in life that allowed him to commit himself to founding what became the Brothers of the Christian Schools. I know that you have found, are in the midst of finding your purpose, your vocation, what you have been called to do in the practice of speech-language pathology, and you've already provided services to children and adults who otherwise had no way to access that care. The Brothers of the Christian Schools often stress one aspect of their approach to learning: the importance of the human connection, the spiritual bond between the teacher and the student. I know that you will forge similar bonds with your clients, and in those encounters, I hope you can bring calm and peace to them and find calm and peace in your own good work. As leaders, you will make a difference in individual lives, and collectively, you'll make a difference in communities and across the world. We all need you, and we really look forward to seeing you do great things. So congratulations to all. Thank you again for your hard work and accomplishment, and I look forward to the rest of the ceremony. Thank you.
So now, what you've all been waiting for. Tonight, each of our students will be awarded a white coat. The white coat ceremony began in 1993 as a way to highlight all members of the healthcare community who serve patients with humanism. The bestowing of a white coat tonight is the SLP faculty's collective agreement that you are dedicated to compassionate, collaborative, scientifically grounded care for those you serve. The patch affixed to the front of your coat commemorates that these values were instilled in you at Lewis University. As you come forward, you will be coated by members of your clinical faculty. From this day forward, you may wear your white coat as a symbol of your Lewis training and your dedication to humanistic healthcare. After you're coated, members of your academic faculty will bestow honors cords to students who have met the criteria for each award. The honorary cords are as follows. The black cord is for academic excellence. It's given upon the recommendation of your academic faculty for exemplary achievement in academic work, as represented by the students with the top 10 grade point averages overall, and the students who have achieved the high score on our speech-language pathology comprehensive examination and on the national board exam, our SLP praxis exam. The gold cord is awarded upon recommendation of your research faculty for excellence in scholarly productivity, including the design and implementation of capstone projects and the dissemination of your findings at either the Lewis University Celebration of Scholarship or the annual convention of the Illinois Speech Language Hearing Association. The White Cord is awarded upon the recommendation of your clinical faculty for excellence in the care of clients entrusted to you, including a commitment to evidence-based clinical practices and a respect for the dignity of all people. Finally, the red and black cord is the Lewis Mission Ambassador Cord. It is awarded upon the unanimous agreement of the full-time faculty to students who consistently and selflessly go above and beyond to serve the needs of others. As you come forward, you will be presented with honors cords by your academic faculty. The honors cords are to be draped over the right arm of your white coat tonight and worn with your regalia at graduation. Members of the SLP class of 2023, again, I say this is your moment. I speak on behalf of our entire faculty in saying that we are incredibly proud of you. We have accompanied you on your personal journey to SLP, as I like to say, and let me tell you, you have impressed us in so very many ways. Please come forward to be recognized as your name is called. Joanna Ayala. Joanna's supervisors have described her as a well-rounded, impressive clinician across clinical sites. She has a positive attitude and is eager to learn. Dr. Gernon is proud of Joanna for two of her colleagues for their teamwork on their clinical research capstone. You're going to stand right here for just a second. Don't leave yet. The first person always has to get the drill down, right? Yeah, okay. Dr. Gernon is proud of Joanna and her colleagues for their teamwork on their clinical research capstone, which investigated how bilingualism impacts mild cognitive impairment. Joanna was born in Morelos, Mexico, and wants to work with children and adults during her career with specialization in second language acquisition. Her most influential supervisors were Professor Stoffel and Professor Bucher at Mays Lake Village, who showed her how truly remarkable our profession is. Joanna has received one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Honors Cord. Her clinical work has also been recognized by her supervisors, and she has the white clinical cord to show for that. Good job, Joanna. Rebecca Blazek. Professor Basil observed that Becca put her best foot forward every day at I Can Dream Center. She leveraged her organization, desire to learn, and evidence-based strategies to treat her clients with autism. Becca named Professor Basil as one of her most influential supervisors, stating she was always there to support her and cheer her on as she grew into a therapist. Rebecca has achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Academic Honors Cord. She will receive the Gold Honors Cord as well for presenting her scoping review at the Celebration of Scholarship. And she has accepted a position at Little Steps Pediatric Therapy, a private practice in Arlington Heights. Congratulations, Becca. Taylor Busker. Mrs. Stoffel said that Taylor could use her time wisely and that she was results-oriented, making every minute of therapy count toward attainment of therapy goals. She was excellent at using casual conversation as a teachable moment for her clients. She balanced her focused approach with a warm and personable manner. Professor Basil says that Taylor's clients at I Can Dream Center cannot wait for her to walk into the room, and her energy and enthusiasm just drew the kids to her. Taylor loved all of her supervisors, but Professor Wu was her most influential. She learned a lot about school-age articulation and language therapy while in her telepractice rotation. Taylor hopes to work in a therapeutic day school with children with autism. She has earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician, the Black Cord for her performance on the Praxis examination in speech-language pathology. And she doesn't know this yet, but she achieved the high score for your class on this national board exam. Taylor has earned the Gold Honors Cord for scholarship. Along with two other colleagues, they presented a scoping review entitled The Effects of Using Robust Vocabulary in AAC for Non-Speaking Autistic Children. This project was directed by Dr. Reynolds and was presented at the Lewis University Celebration of Scholarship. Good job, Taylor. Erica Correa. Erica is inquisitive by nature, and she is always asking questions to try to make connections between what is taught in her courses and what this will look like in clients. Dr. Szymanski believes this will serve her well as she begins working as a speech-language pathologist. Dr. Reynolds remembers Erica as an enthusiastic and passionate class member. She is intellectually curious and constantly seeking ways to apply her classroom knowledge to her clients. She'll be an excellent advocate for her clients. Professor Scavo-Smith says that Erica is determined to make connections with her clients in order to find the best ways to motivate them in therapy. Erica says her most influential client was a man who was attacked in a brutal fight and suffered traumatic brain injury. She said that his perseverance to be the best he could be was always an inspiration to her. Erica hopes to work in an outpatient clinic. Good luck, Erica. Thank you. Tremia Davis. Professor Bucher highlighted Tremia's clinical performance for her skill in developing relationships with her Mays Lake clients, assessing their needs and providing them with emotional support and encouragement. Dr. Reynolds noted that Tremia and her student partner did exceptional work in her voice course to understand the culture and challenges of trans women and applied this knowledge to a class project. Tremia highlights Dr. Ann Gernon as the faculty member who has helped her the most. She describes Dr. G as modest, yet so knowledgeable. She hopes to work in an outpatient rehabilitation setting. Tremia receives the Gold Honors Cord for presenting her scoping review at the Celebration of Scholarship. Good luck, Tremia. Ellen Duda. Dr. Gernon was impressed that Ellen came to class with an enthusiasm to learn. She also highlighted Ellen's work with one other colleague on their clinical capstone project. Whoops, sorry. Uh-oh. Hang on. Sometimes things get mixed up. We might have to wing this, Jenna. I had a whole thing, but I don't know. All right, I'll have to wing this. Yeah, I don't have to do that very often. This is Jenna Lee DeMarco, and she is an outstanding clinician. Do you want to tell us where I know that one of your most influential people was Professor Scavo-Smith, yes. Right, at Midwest Brain Injury Clinic, where she worked with patients with brain injury, and that is what you want to do in your career. Is that not correct? You want to work in an outpatient rehab clinic?
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, there you go, with patients with dysphagia and cognitive communication disorders. I remember what I wrote, I just don't know what happened to it. But anyway, it looks like you are receiving the Gold, Black, and White Honors Cords. Congratulations. You have to be cool under fire when you do things like this. I'm just seeing if a page got out of order or what happened here. I found it. I was like, come on. I'm going to just take a moment to actually, to read Jasmine Diaz's. And then we'll go back and I'll tell you a little bit about Jenna. Professor Berkovic noted that Jasmine always went the extra mile to help her students at Arrow, in therapy and in the classroom. Her caring attitude, along with her strong work ethic, contributed to her effectiveness as a clinician. Jasmine credits 2 supervisors for her development as a student clinician, Professor Bucher at Mays Lake and Professor Berkovic at Arrow. She says they both provided constructive feedback and noticed when she used it to improve her therapy performance. She hopes to work in a private practice or school setting. Jasmine has earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. Let's just hold, thank you so much, Jasmine. So Grace is going to bring Jenna back up. Jenna, I know. Please stand and be properly recognized. I'm so sorry. Jenna always demonstrated care and compassion for her clients at St. Andrew's School. Professor Davidson noted that Jenna wanted to do what was best for them and make sure their speech deficits were being targeted in therapy. Her current clinical supervisor notes that Jenna connects deeply with her adult clients to make them feel safe and respected. Jenna hopes to work in outpatient rehabilitation with Parkinson's patients. She earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. She's also achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Honors Cord. Along with her research partners, she completed a scoping review of the vocal impact of using inhaled asthma medications on children. This project, mentored by Dr. Reynolds, was accepted for a poster presentation at the Lewis Celebration of Scholarship. And so Jenna receives the Gold Honors Cord for her scholarly work. Now there we have it. Let's see if I can keep this in order now. Okay, Ellen Duda. Dr. Gernon was impressed that Ellen came to class with an enthusiasm to learn. She also highlighted Ellen's work with one other colleague on their clinical capstone project that examined facial recognition by patients with Alzheimer's disease. Professor Scavo-Smith says Ellen is a master at being able to switch directions and meet her clients where they are in any given session. She has the ability to engage her clients and make therapy fun. Ellen hopes to work with patients following traumatic brain injury or stroke in a rehab facility. Given her excellent development across clinical rotations, Ellen is awarded the White Clinical Honors Cord. Congratulations, Ellen. Nicole Fleck. According to Professor Basil, Nicole grew exceptionally as an autism therapist while on rotation at I Can Dream Center. She describes Nicole as a gifted therapist who used behavioral and communication, communication strategies simultaneously to address the needs of her clients. Nicole's most influential supervisor was Professor Scavo-Smith. As her first clinical supervisor, she gave Nicole her first vision of how critical the work of an SLP can be. Nicole is interested in beginning her career with patients with cognitive communication disorders, teaching memory and functional life skills, and she hopes to work in an outpatient clinic with stroke and TBI survivors. I hope you get to do that, Nicole. Maria Foray. Maria's was part of a group that completed a memorable video assignments for Dr. Reynolds' class. Dr. Reynolds especially enjoyed their cheerful greetings that always made her smile during a long night of grading. Professor Basil describes Maria as a therapist who prepares detailed lesson plans for her students with autism, using visuals, behavioral strategies, and communication aids that are effective for everyone. Maria remembers Professor Bucher at Mays Lake and Professor Davidson at St. Andrew's School as her most influential supervisors. They helped her gain a vision for the work she wanted to do in the field and the necessary documentation for the job. Maria hopes to work in an elementary school. Good job, Maria. Talia Garcia. Talia demonstrated a natural instinct as a therapist, according to Professor Berkovic. She formed strong bonds with her students at Arrow through her upbeat attitude and dedication. Talia named Professor Berkovic as the supervisor who shaped her as a therapist. She provided the best feedback and kept me accountable during the entirety of the Arrow practicum. Talia hopes to work in the Chicago Public Schools. Talia has earned the Gold Honors Cord for Scholarship. Along with 2 other student colleagues, she completed a scoping review entitled The Effects of Utilizing Robust Vocabulary in AAC for Non-Speaking Autistic Children. This project, directed by Dr. Reynolds, was presented at the Lewis University Celebration of Scholarship. Good job, Talia. Claudia Glasgow. Claudia is a student who's serious about learning and seems to always enjoy doing so. Dr. Reynolds remembers that Claudia's group completed video assignments in her class that were entertaining and informative. The videos were a standout every time. In clinical rotations, Professor Stoffel stated that Claudia communicates superbly and works independently to serve her clients at Mays Lake Village. Moreover, she provided help to fellow clinicians who sought clinical ideas or help with their clients. Professor Wu remembers her work in the telepractice clinic delivering services at a distance to children with severe and profound disabilities. Not only could she manage a large caseload of school-age clients, but she was able to achieve therapy objectives in a fun and interactive manner. Claudia hopes to work with children, but is open to a variety of work settings. Claudia has earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. She achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Honors Cord. Furthermore, Claudia's resilience, hard work, perseverance through challenges, and continual kindness and helpfulness to others has earned her the Red and Black Lewis Mission Cord. Congratulations. Danielle Gonzalez. Professor Bucher showcased Danielle's dedication to the craft of being an SLP, her determination to developing professional writing skills, and her natural ability to form relationships with her Mays Lake clients. Professor Wu commented on Danielle's dedication to her clients in the telepractice clinic and her determination to grow as a therapist. Danielle cites her rotation at Mays Lake as her most shaping. She said that Mrs. B was a real mentor about issues relative to the clinic and beyond. She hopes to work in a hospital with dysphagia patients. Good luck, Danielle. Gabriella Granda. Gabby plans to work as a bilingual SLP in a school or private practice. She appreciates opportunities to learn about and experience SLP practice in these settings. Gabby could always be counted on to be prepared and give her best effort for her clients at Arrow Special Ed Co-op, according to Professor Berkovic. Professor Stoffel highlighted Gabby's keen observational skills and ability to determine the emotional states of her clients at Mays Lake Village and speak to them in a sensitive manner. She noted that Gabby could see what needed to be done and took initiative in her roles as a therapist and a collaborative team member. Of her work in the classroom, Dr. Reynolds noted that Gabby's group was also that group that completed those great video assignments with pizzazz, and Dr. Reynolds really enjoyed these cheerful greetings as they signed on and off of these videos. She is awarded the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. Congratulations, Gabby. Stefan Hampel. Professor Berkovic noted Stefan's innovation when providing therapy to students at Arrow. He consistently thought outside the box when problem-solving even the most challenging situations. He was always willing to help in the classroom and make a positive impact on his students. Professor Davidson remarked on Stefan's novel approach to working with school children. He put in extra time and effort and research to know how to best target therapy goals. He was assigned children with more challenging disorders and demonstrated compassion and drive while working with the students. The kids at St. Andrew's School just loved working with him. Professor Stoffel noted that Stefan was genuinely connected with his adult clients at Mays Lake Village, and that he was particularly good at explaining difficult concepts with interesting and engaging word pictures. Dr. Gernon acknowledged Stefan as a true gift as her research associate over the past year, allowing completion of a data phase of a collection of one of her studies about attention skills. Stefan highlighted two influential professors in his tenure at Lewis University. Professor Berkovic was extremely supportive of me when I doubted my ability as a clinician. She was always ready to offer suggestions and was honest where others would have told a white lie. I discovered my resiliency with her guidance. I love that, Stefan. Dr. Gernon opened my eyes to the world of clinical research. She never turned me away when I had questions about clinical practice or career decisions, even when I interrupted her lunch hour. I believe that I can become an impactful researcher in the future because of her influence. Along with Bianca, Stefan will receive the Black Honors Cord tonight for earning the highest score on the SLP comprehensive examination. I bet you didn't know that. No. And now I had to tip off Bianca, but anyway. He received the Gold Honors Cord for his scholarly work, including a presentation with Dr. Gernon at the Illinois Speech Language Hearing Association convention. He's a recipient of the White Honors Cord for his exemplary work in clinical rotations. And further, Stefan, your faculty recognize you as someone who is always respectful and willing to take on extra assignments without complaint. Your I can do it positive attitude is an example to us all. You have shown grit, determination, and humor, all while transforming into a gifted SLP. For demonstrating Lewis's mission in action, you are awarded the Red and Black Mission Cord. So I think that's all 4 honors cards for Stefan. Congratulations. Miss Madison Hoffbauer. Dr. Gernon describes Madison as committed to her clients, putting them ahead of any other opportunities. Madison stated her most influential supervisor was Mrs. Jacobs at the elementary school where she was placed, because this SLP made her feel like she could thrive in the field and boosted her confidence as a clinician. Madison hopes to work in a setting where she can provide services to children who need augmentative and alternative communication devices. Congratulations, Madison. Tasneem Jabbar. Professor Basil notes that Tasneem's strength is her character of heart and grace. She uses phrases such as, "What do you need? How wonderful, you did it," to support her clients with autism. Professor Basil wants you to know, Tasneem, that you did it. We are all so proud of the clinician you have become. Tasneem identifies Professor Basil as the professor who made the most impact upon her career. She never failed to give constructive feedback, but she believes in her student and strives to see them succeed at I Can Dream. In addition to being proud of her clinical development, we note Tasneem's academic accomplishments. She has earned the Gold Honors Cord. Along with 2 other colleagues, she presented her scoping review at the Lewis University Celebration of Scholarship. Tasneem hopes to work in a pediatric setting. Congratulations, Tasneem. Bailey Johnson. Dr. Reynolds pointed out that Bailey's capstone research group chose a challenging topic, investigating behavioral treatments for children with feeding disorders. Their results are needed at a time when we're struggling to understand why children have feeding deficits with no underlying medical pathology. Professor Basil says from the moment she met you, Bailey, she hoped you would be a school SLP. She says your patience, enthusiasm, and talent with children with autism and other severe disabilities is a blessing. Bailey identifies her rotations at Mays Lake and I Can Dream as her most shaping experiences. She said she left each experience with a new passion for working with people with communication disorders and a new confidence that she could work in these settings. Bailey has earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. And additionally, Bailey, your faculty recognize you as someone who is always willing to assist them and our staff. And you are always eager to face challenges in the clinical field, and you do so without complaint. Your smiles and infectiously positive demeanor. For this, you are awarded the Lewis Mission Cord. Congratulations. I almost don't know if I can get through all of these. They're so impressive. Sydney Krasuski. Professor Bucher remembers Sydney for all the work she did with a client with mild cognitive impairment, coupled with hearing loss. Sydney was able to help this client follow conversations more attentively and participate in them effectively. Professor Scavo-Smith says that Sydney creates a safe, compassionate space for her clients with acquired brain injury and makes them feel comfortable. She identifies and addresses goals that have the greatest impacts on her clients' lives. Sydney hopes to work in the outpatient setting with children or adults. She has earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. She also has achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Academic Honors Cord. And she presented her research at the Celebration of Scholarship, receiving the Gold Honors Cord as well. Congratulations, Sydney. Mallory Lipsky. Dr. Reynolds describes Mallory as a quiet achiever. She meets deadlines, works extremely well independently and in groups, and is consistent and dependable. Mallory notes that Professor Bucher was her most valuable mentor. Professor B's compassion toward her clients still resonates with me today, Mallory said. She gave great advice, and I can still come to her today. Mallory hopes to work with children in a school or clinic. I hope you get to Mallory. Good job. Mahogany Mason Kelly. Professor Scavo-Smith says that Mahogany has an endless bag of tricks and an impressive therapy material she's created over time. She is often a bright spot in the day when her clients with acquired brain injury are struggling. Her infectious laugh and positive attitude is motivating to everyone around her. In the telepractice clinic, Professor Wu says that Mahogany jumped right in from the start, establishing rapport and planning meaningful therapy for school children from a distance. Professor Reynolds has observed that Mahogany has excellent conflict resolution skills and navigates group dynamics successfully. She is sure to be a great colleague in the workplace. Mahogany named Ms. Kristen and the clients at Midwest Brain Injury Clubhouse as her most influential due to their life stories and challenging communication disabilities. She further identified Professor Stoffel as someone who shaped her. She is the perfect example of providing a safe space to grow professionally and independently, but also giving feedback when you need it. Her energy and aura are so warm and comforting when she enters the room. She and Mrs. B were always hard to leave at the end of the Mays Lake rotation due to the close-knit bonds I formed with them. Mahogany is awarded the White Clinical Honors Cord for outstanding performance across clinical rotations. She hopes to work in a rehabilitation or pediatric clinic. Good luck, Mahogany. Rebecca Metcalf. Dr. Szymanski says that Rebecca did an excellent job in the literacy class. She demonstrated how to incorporate literature into language therapy with older students and really showed command of the material related to higher level language. Dr. Reynolds was impressed that Becca chose a topic for her capstone research, the late diagnosis of autism in women. She and her group did an excellent job presenting their results. Becca's passion for this topic was very clearly shown through, and she plans to use her voice to advocate for other women. Becca shines a light on her favorite clinical rotation, Mays Lake Village. She loved how the clients were warm and eager to help her learn in one of her first clinical placements. She identified Professor Stoffel as her most influential mentor, again highlighting her kindness, support, and gentle guidance. I really improved my clinical writing during this time, Becca said, and I knew that Mrs. Stoffel would always be there to guide me. Rebecca hopes to work in a pediatric clinic or public school. Congratulations. Amanda Pelnarsh. Amanda's capstone research group worked under the mentorship of Dr. Reynolds to study behavioral treatments for children with feeding disorders. Their results stood out as information is needed by SLPs who are challenged to treat kids with feeding and eating problems. Professor Tammy Basil describes Amanda as one of the finest clinicians when working with children with autism. Amanda goes above and beyond to prepare, accommodate, and execute. She loved her rotation at the local elementary school and her one at I Can Dream Center working with children with autism. She hopes to work in the early childhood or elementary setting. Amanda's outstanding clinical work has been recognized by multiple supervisors. She's awarded the White Clinical Honors Cord for Excellence in Clinical Achievement. Congratulations, Amanda. Bianca Perez. In the classroom, Bianca did outstanding work in Dr. Reynolds' stuttering course and was able to apply it to her clinical caseload in this low incidence population. Dr. Gernon is proud of Bianca and her two colleagues for their teamwork on the clinical research capstone, which investigated how bilingualism impacts the progression of mild cognitive impairment. Bianca highlighted her clinical experience at I Can Dream Center and a local elementary school as her top two rotations. She enjoyed working with Professor Basil, who doesn't, right? And appreciated her exceptional modeling and assistance when working with a challenging population. Bianca hopes to work in an interdisciplinary setting or at a children's hospital where she wants to apply her skills as a bilingual SLP. Bianca has achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class. And she tied with one other student, as you've already heard, as the top score on our SLP comprehensive exams. Bianca is the recipient of the Black Academic Honors Cord. Congratulations. We'll hire them as tutors next year. I wish I could. Okay, Dora Pra. Dora has been a solid student in the classroom and clinic. Dr. Gernon said that Dora's worked with one other colleague on their clinical capstone project that examined facial recognition by patients with Alzheimer's disease was a standout. Her favorite clinical rotations were Mays Lake Village and Midwest Brain Injury Clubhouse. Her most influential mentor was Professor Scavo Smith, who demonstrated all the qualities a clinician should possess. Dora hopes to work in a school setting. She has achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Honors Cord. Congratulations. Arthur Quinones. Arthur came to us from Stockton, California, and he's found his passion from working with patients with swallowing and cognitive communication disorders during his time at Lewis. Dr. Gernon always enjoyed having Arthur in class. He asked pertinent questions and added to the discussion with his perspectives. Arthur and his student colleague presented a scoping review about the effectiveness of speech pathology intervention in individuals with intimate communication difficulties following a stroke. And they presented at the celebration of scholarship here at Lewis. They were the winner of an award for the best graduate concurrent session with Dr. Reynolds as their faculty mentor. Arthur identifies Professor Sarah Wu as his most influential mentor, citing her ability to give him insight into a number of different kinds of pediatric clients he saw in the telepractice clinic. He said that this experience helped him understand the importance of getting communication therapy early so that kiddos can be the best version of themselves as they grow, his words. Arthur has secured his first job at a hospital near his hometown in California, and I guess we'll have to let him go. He will no doubt thrive working with adult patients in acute care. Arthur receives the Gold Honors Cord for dissemination of his scholarly research. Emily Rivera. Dr. Gernon is proud of Emily and her two colleagues for their teamwork on their clinical research capstone, which again investigated how bilingualism impacts the progression of mild cognitive impairment. Emily chose Professor Erica Berkovic as her most influential clinical educator. She stated that Professor Berkovic provided her with so much helpful information to treat the children with special needs at Arrow Special Ed Co-op, and that she never felt alone. Emily has received one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Academic Honors Cord. Sandra Robles. Professor Scavo-Smith highlights Sandra's interest in serving as a bilingual SLP. She has completed bilingual evaluations with school children during one of her clinical rotations. At Midwest Brain Injury Clubhouse, Sandra was the first person to notice that a client was having a seizure and provided appropriate support during this medical emergency. Sandra loved her rotation at I Can Dream Center and a local special education center as well. She says she'll always remember Mrs. Bucher, who not only taught her how to complete clinical documentation, but helped her understand that we don't always have to know what to do, but we have to be willing to ask and get help. Sandra hopes to secure a job in a pediatric clinic. She's recognized with the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician. Congratulations. Sophie Scanlon. Several professors saw Sophie as a standout. Professor Davidson noted that Sophie exudes creativity, organization, and flexibility in the clinical setting. She was able to target school-age goals while having fun, and the students at St. Andrew's School in Romeoville loved working with her. Professor Stoffel particularly enjoyed Sophie's patient-centered approach to care and her sensitivity to inclusivity of the residents. She didn't shy away from engaging clients on sensitive topics or working to calm them down if a client was a little bit agitated. Dr. Gernon described Sophie as a gifted student who brings perspective and curiosity to class and is always eager to learn new things about our profession. Sophie served as president of NISLA during her first year in our program. Sophie and a student colleague presented their scoping review about the effectiveness of speech-language pathology services in individuals with intimate communication difficulties following stroke at the university's celebration of scholarship. They were the winner of an award for the best graduate concurrent session with Dr. Reynolds as their faculty mentor. She was also a co-presenter of a project called Narrative Sampling and Running Speech Production in the Assessment of Pediatric Voice Disorders at the Illinois Speech Language Hearing Association. This study was conducted in association with Dr. Reynolds' research lab. Sophie receives the Gold Honors Cord for dissemination of her scholarly research, and she's achieved one of the top 10 GPAs in her class, so she receives the Black Academic Cord as well. Sophie hopes to work in the outpatient neuro rehab setting. Good job, Sophie. And just wait until you hear her sing, because she can really do that, too. Michelle Spencer. Dr. Gernon commented on Michelle's desire to learn about all aspects of our profession, noting that she came to class with insightful questions that allowed for synthesis of complex information. Professor Tammy Basil highlights Michelle's need to know the why of every situation. How wonderful. You make yourself and those around you more informed and wise, more human, more personable when you ask why. Highlighted as a standout clinician in the telepractice clinic as well, Michelle is awarded the White Honors Cord for her excellence as a student clinician. She presented her scholarly research at the Celebration of Scholarship and receives the Gold Honors Cord. And finally, Michelle, your faculty recognize you as someone who goes above and beyond, assisting your peers, is always respectful, and gives maximum class participation, for giving 100% effort to be the best SLP you can be, and helping your peers to do the same. You are awarded the Red and Black Mission Cord. Congratulations. Katie Steinberg. Katie, along with her research partner, completed a scoping review of how asthma medications inhaled by children can impact their vocal quality. This project was mentored by Dr. Reynolds and accepted for presentation at the Celebration of Scholarship. Katie will receive a Gold Honors Cord for her work on this project. She's also received one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Academic Honors Cord. Katie hopes to work in a school setting with children. Congratulations. Olivia Tonietto. Professor Stoffel noted that while Olivia began her rotation at Mays Lake with some apprehension, she learned to shine in teaching adult clients what was causing their hearing issues or what caused their attention to wane as we grow older. Olivia's favorite rotation was Midwest Brain Injury Clubhouse with Professor Scavo Smith. She identifies her primary area of interest as motor speech disorders and hopes to someday work in a pediatric clinic or adult rehab center. Olivia presented her scholarly research at the Celebration of Scholarship and receives the Gold Honors Cord. Congratulations. Riley Whizzer. Riley's capstone research group worked together with Dr. Reynolds' guidance to study the effectiveness of behavioral treatments for children with feeding disorders. Professor Scavo Smith reports that Riley has excelled at both of her advanced practicum external placement. She's taken on a demanding schedule with a smile and has been grateful for every opportunity. Her supervisors have appreciated her willingness to learn, her compassion, and her positive attitude. Riley states that she wants to be a clinician that listens. She wants to hear the needs of individual clients, and so they know that they have a voice. Riley earned the White Clinical Honors Cord for her outstanding work as a student clinician who's been heralded by multiple supervisors. She received one of the top 10 GPAs in her class and is the recipient of the Black Honors Cord as well. Riley hopes to work in a high school transition program for young people with autism or other disabilities, or in a rehab setting. Sarah Zaxis. According to Professor Berkovic, Sarah proved herself to be a natural SLP. She has a positive and patient attitude when working with her clients at Arrow. Her passion for the field was evident throughout her clinical practicum. Professor Basil notes that Sarah used her previous experience working with minimally verbal children and took it to the next level in grad school. She describes her as an outside-the-box thinker and a clinician who uses every resource to benefit her clients. Sarah identifies Professor Basil as one of her most supportive clinical educators who always came to work with a positive attitude and boundless energy. Sarah hopes to work at an autism clinic or elementary school. Her outstanding clinical work has been recognized by multiple supervisors, and you're awarded the White Clinical Honors Cord. Congratulations. Last but not least, Andrea Zuniga. One of Andrea's first clients at Mays Lake suffered from primary progressive aphasia. Andrea researched the most effective therapy methods to help this patient, who was so thankful that she regained her ability to say her daily prayers. Professor Bucher described that as a big moment for them all. Professor Stoffel also commented that Andrea has a heart for the older population and easily connects with them as she addresses their communication needs. Professor Basil says that Andrea demonstrates strength of character, sensitivity, and the heart of a therapist to all the children with autism she served at I Can Dream Center. Professor Wu adds that your green screen skills are second to none when delivering interactive telepractice speech therapy for children with severe speech deficits. Andrea has chosen I Can Dream Center and the telepractice clinic as her favorite rotations. She was heavily influenced by Professor Basil, who taught her that behavior equals communication. She also thanks Professor Wu and Professor Osterreich for all the skills she learned when working with her many clients in West Central Illinois through telepractice. Given her superior performance across multiple clinical rotations, Andrea is awarded the White Clinical Honors Cord. She will receive the Gold Honors Cord as well for presenting her capstone project at the Celebration of Scholarship. And finally, Andrea, your faculty recognize you as exceptionally respectful, dedicated to serving your clients, driven to excel in your field, and always positive and compassionate. I want to say that I also remember your kindness in helping me deliver Christmas gifts to 2 locations, even after your Christmas break was underway. For these outstanding traits, you are awarded the Red and Black Lewis Mission Cord. Andrea hopes to use her bilingual abilities to work with second language learners in the public schools setting. Congratulations. Class of 2023, please stand and face the audience. We'll give everyone time to get there. Okay. Audience, let's honor these students for all they have achieved at Lewis University. It's kind of touching that you still look to me for something, you know. All right. All right. Back up one. Sorry. The Lewis University Speech-Language Pathology program is born of mission. That mission is to reach beyond the barriers that keep people with communication difficulties from being able to interact with their family and friends. The mission is to find people with communication challenges and find a way to serve them. Our faculty and students have done just that. Most of the nearly 17,000 hours of clinical practice logged by these 35 students. Now let's understand that's 17,000 collective hours with clients, okay? Over 10,000 of those were fill the gap hours. This means, this is truly remarkable. This means that the 10,000 of those hours in our community clinics would not have, these people would not have had speech-language pathology services if it wasn't for our faculty supervisors and you out there doing it. You have not only learned of the needs for more speech-language pathology services in our community, you have rolled up your sleeves to address the needs, and I hope you've been inspired to continue this work, to continue to knock down the barriers that prevent people from obtaining communication services. May it be your generation of SLPs that will achieve ASH's mission of ensuring that all people with communication disorders can learn to communicate to the best of their ability. Okay, so now we will welcome our musical guests to the stage. I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Sophie Scanlon, class of 2023, and her musical entourage, You Be the Guy. Let's give them a hand. Prepare to be impressed.
A new world calls across the ocean. A new world calls across the sky. A new world whispers in the shadows. Time to fly. Time to fly.
It's about one moment, the moment before it all becomes clear, and in that one moment, you start to believe there's nothing to fear. It's about 1 second. Just when you're on the verge of success, the sky starts to change and the wind starts to blow. And oh, you're suddenly a stranger. There's no explaining where you'll stand. You didn't know that you sometimes have to go round an unexpected bend, and the road will end in a new world.
A new world calls for me to follow. A new world waits for my reply. A new world holds me to a promise, standing by. Standing by. It's about one moment, the moment you think you know where you stand, but in that one moment, the things that you're sure of slip from your hand, and you've got 1 second to try to be clear, to try to stand tall, but nothing's the same. And the wind starts to blow, and oh, you're suddenly a stranger in some completely different land. And you thought you knew, but you didn't have a clue that the surface sometimes cracks to reveal the tracks to a new world. You have a house on the hill. You've got a job on the coast.
You find a lover you're sure you believe in.
You've got a pool in the back.
You get the part of your life.
You hold the ring in your hand.
But then the earthquake hits.
And the bank closes in.
And you realize you didn't know anything.
Nobody told you the best way to steer when the wind starts to blow. And oh, you're suddenly a stranger. Your life is you somehow find a way to be sure of what will be, and you might be free. A new world crashes down like thunder, a new world charging through the air, a new world just beyond the mountain, waiting there, waiting there, a new world shattering the silence. There's a new world I'm afraid to see, a new world louder every moment. Come to me, come to me. Thank you. Go out.
Wow. Thank you so much. At Lewis University, we are honored to have De La Salle Christian Brothers in residence. Tonight, Brother Philip Johnson, known to us as Brother Phil, is here to offer his thoughts and blessings on our future speech-language pathologists. Brother Phil? Thank you, Brother Phil, for those inspiring words. It's time for the charge to the class of 2023. Class of 2023, as the administrative director of the MSSLP program at Lewis University, it was my privilege to read your application to graduate school, to interview you as a hopeful candidate, to choose and call you to a seat in our program. It was my honor to assemble an amazing team of educators, to share their gifts with you, and to inspire you to be the best SLPs that you can be. It was my duty to pray for you throughout your journey and to do my best to see you to this crossroad. You are soon to reach your dream of becoming an SLP. I am so very, very proud of you. Your charge is simple. Remember that you are a Lewis SLP. You have learned not only the knowledge and skills of our discipline, you have been shown the path to becoming socially responsible, culturally informed, transformative SLPs. You were drawn to Lewis because this was our mission. You will leave Lewis with the ability to carry these traits forward with you as a Lewis SLP. May God go with each of you on your journey from this point forward. Administrators, family, and friends, I present to you again the Lewis University 2023 class of SLPs. Please stand and face the audience. Family and friends, before you stands the Lewis University next class of SLPs, 35 soon-to-be Lewis SLPs. I hereby certify to you that they are ready to treat speech, language, voice, fluency, and swallowing disorders in children and adults. They are dedicated to the highest standards of clinical practice. They are prepared to meet people where they are, many times in some of life's most difficult moments. They are poised to transform the practice of speech-language pathology by ensuring that all people are afforded the human right to communicate with others. Again, join me in wishing them joy in the journey as Lewis SLPs, and Aiden Martinez, a Lewis alumnus, by the way, will accompany us in the recessional. As SLP students, please remain in the hall for photography. We want to get a nice photo of all of us together. This may be our one good chance. Administrators and faculty will lead the recessional, followed by family and friends, and we'll see you shortly down in the flight deck for refreshments. Aiden, thank you all.